Hey guys, what's up? It's me, Pagey here, once again with another video revolved around Suicide Squad. Now with Suicide Squad being its own, self-contained movie, I guess, essentially with like no big name heroes as the main focus of the film, there wasn't a lot of setup for future films apart from a handful of scenes, including the post-credit scene. Now I have done a video all about the post-credit scene. I will leave it linked in the description below if you want to go check it out. One scene that takes place, however, towards the beginning of the film, as we are introduced to each member of the Suicide Squad, is a link to future films in the DC Extended Universe or Cinematic Universe. And that is the short but extremely awesome cameo by Barry Allen, aka The Flash. Now we get to see the Flash, played by Ezra Miller, as mentioned previously when we meet Captain Boomerang. We learn that Captain Boomerang had robbed almost every bank in Australia and is now continuing that trade in the United States. I don't think they necessarily straight up mention Central City, but it's safe to assume he was robbing Central City Bank, or a bank in Central City, by the fact that he was, interrupted by the Flash. Now, Boomerang was actually robbing a bank, as I said before, with a partner who he takes out as they are leaving with, you guessed it, a boomerang. This is when we get the arrival of the Flash. Now, the lightning is blue, as we saw in the Justice League trailer, but the top thing to point out is that he was wearing the suit we see in that Justice League trailer. Like, the suit looks 100% the same, look, it has all the different bits in there, all the lines look like they're in the same spot, so it looks like the suit that we saw in this movie, in Suicide Squad, is the exact same suit he's going to be wearing in Justice League, well, for the most part of Justice League, you would think. So essentially the Flash knocks Captain Boomerang back and picks up one of his boomerang and says something along the line of "honor amongst thieves," but in like a quippy sort of way. This is obviously referring to the fact that Captain Boomerang has just supposedly killed his partner. This is followed by another flash of blue lightning as we cut away. So what does this scene mean in regards to the rest of the DC Extended or Cinematic Universe? The first thing to bring up is that Suicide Squad is, in regards to the timeline, after Batman v Superman. So this is a future Flash from the one we saw in the security footage in Batman v Superman. Captain Boomerang does point out that the last thing he remembers seeing before being cut out of that mailing bag and starting to punch people is seeing a flash of lightning and electricity, I think. So that flash scene takes place just before the events of Suicide Squad, because that's the last thing he remembers, and then he, arrives at the pep talk, I guess you could say, from Rick Flag. But what does this mean for the Flash in the future of the DC universe? Will we get to see him take on Captain Boomerang again? Now we know this was their first encounter with each other, as Boomerang had no clue what the hell took him down. As he says, the only thing he remembers seeing was that flash of lightning. You would think we would see these two face off again at some point, whether that be in the Flash movie, or maybe in a Suicide Squad 2 if Boomerang is possibly released. Or breaks out, one of the two. You would hope that in Justice League, Bruce Wayne might have footage from the bank of the Flash taking out Boomerang, which would be awesome to see from like another angle, or just to see it again, but like a longer scene. Now I did mention Suicide Squad 2 in regards to Boomerang, because they have said that Suicide Squad 2 is going to happen. And you think Boomerang would return, because I loved him in Suicide Squad in this film, and you think a lot of people have been saying the same things. So you think he would return because he was well received. But as I said, if they do decide to keep him as a character that's, constantly on the Suicide Squad movies, then we might not see him return in a Flash movie, or to have another encounter with the Flash, which would be disappointing, but he isn't the biggest Flash villain. Like, if this was like a reverse Flash or something, or even like a Captain Cold, then you could see them doing it again, him encountering the Flash more. It is Captain Boomerang, he's not right at the top of the list, so they could just keep him in like the Suicide Squad circle. But just the fact that we got to see Captain Boomerang and the Flash have an encounter, even though they didn't, exchange words too much, it just was really cool to see as a Flash fan and also a Captain Boomerang fan. But thanks for watching, guys. Leave your opinions in the comment section below. Do you think this meant something else? Do you think I missed out on anything? Leave them in the comment section below. Would you like to see Captain Boomerang pop up in the Flash movie? If you want to leave a like on the video, it'd be very much appreciated. And if you're new around here, make sure to subscribe. I'll catch you later, guys. Goodbye.